Good evening and welcome to the 6 o'clock news, where today we had a British invasion just happened. The Beatles arrived from Liverpool, England to take over America, and as some newscasters and other people are commenting, they are calling this Beatlemania. So for an exclusive, we had a news crew sent out to see the Beatles as they arrived from the airport at JFK, and we're headed right there for this exclusive video footage right now. Here we are at the airport waiting for the Beatles' arrival to America for the first time to hit our shores, and here they are. The Beatles, they finally have landed with their airplane. And here they are, the Beatles themselves, coming to America for the very first time, for Beatlemania, as it's called. The crowds have been waiting overnight for these guys, and it's absolutely just been crazy with all the news footage. The Beatles no more get off the airplane, but they're waited by reporters and a press conference right away. The crowds are enormous, with the people clamoring to get their interviews and to get their exclusive photographs for the magazines and newspapers that will be coming out shortly with this phenomenon that we know as Beatlemania. More and more fans as they gather to see the Beatles, plus one fan who shows off his very nice Beatles t-shirt to show his support for the lads coming to America for the first time. One of the most iconic photos was the Beatles getting off of the airplane carrying their luggage with this TWA and a Beatles bag as well as they got off the airplane to arrive in America. And here you go. Here's two of the bags just like the Beatles carried. Beatle fans waiting in line exclusively hoping to get an autograph or a glimpse of their favorite stars as they arrive here in America with their first album, Meet the Beatles. Here is the Ed Sullivan Theater, where the Beatles will be performing on the TV show coming up with the Ed Sullivan Show. This ought to be fantastic to see the Beatles performing. Also, to bring you exclusive footage of the backstage of where the Beatles will be walking in to be on the Ed Sullivan Show. And the mobs of fans that are waiting for the Beatles' arrival. Also, our news reporter did catch some of the protesters that are out there for the Beatles, for all of the I hate the Beatles and the campaigns to get the Beatles to go away. And here's one of our reporters out here at the Plaza Hotel with some of the video footage of the crowds of the people waiting for the Beatles and knowing that they're here at the Plaza Hotel. It sure is a good thing we have a lot of police force to take care of our great city, with all of the police that are patrolling for the Beatles. And just for fun, I thought I'd show you this. I do have two original stockings that were worn for overnight flights for Pan Am. It's very cool to have a Pan Am bag, that's for sure. But also another very cool collectible is this toy Pan Am airplane that is just a replica of the Beatles airplane that they flew from England to America in. Canada was just a little bit ahead of us in this whole Beatlemania thing, so much so that they had this album out before we got Meet the Beatles. And this is Beatlemania, this album. And this is an original mono pressing of that album. And also an original 64 Beatles big poster. This is probably one of my prized possessions. This is an original 64 mono pressing. And you may say, Beatle Brad, what's so cool or rare about this one? It's got a sticker on it, which is really neat because it's actually a promotional copy. Plus, I've got the newsletter, which makes it very, very rare, which this letter and newspaper was supposed to go out to the press so they can read about the Beatles before they came to America. Also, here are some of my 45s of the Beatles and I Want to Hold Your Hand. Plus, the one on the end is We Love You Beatles. Oh, yes, we do. We don't love anyone as much as you. So that is the original 45 and picture sleeve to go with that. But I just thought I'd show you that for fun.